faut du monde dans la surface. Pour l'instant, il n'y a personne. Il y a Neymar.
Un dernier éclair.
Teenage kicks! The ultimate teenage kick! The boy with the world at his feet!
Your road is to office.
You got good foresight, but I'm fast.
I ain't gonna lie, little bro. Just become a midfielder, big dog. The chapter starts off where we left off last chapter, with Yugo taking the ball from Isagi cause he ain't know what to do with it, talking to Isagi about destiny. Yugo says that destiny isn't a fantasy, nor is it a spiritual thing, but it has logic to it, as we see him send this crazy long pass. The commentators talk about how this counter pass was sent to the front lines, and we see Karasu panicking since it's headed Loki's way. But that's when we see our boy Nico come into the panel to intercept that shit. With one hand to Loki's body, I know he was feeling himself after Ego sent him to the Diamond Gym, but god damn. We see Nico with that Metavision unlock, saying for when Isagi gets the ball stolen, the most dangerous vermin is himself. And all Loki gotta say about this is oops, bro is not worried in the freaking slightest. Isagi gives Nico props, and Yugo even gives his word saying not bad. Nico quickly clears the ball while saying how when Isagi's shot is blocked, Blue Lock will change its attacking pattern, and if their tactics are being read, then they'll just have to rely on their unpredictable individual skills as a poisonous stinger. As we see the ball fly and land to our boy Bachira, quickly hitting the spin move on Bats to break through. But shortly after this nigga comes in to try and stop him, dead in his tracks. He's the right wing of France, and his name is Camus, or Camus. I'm not really sure. I just know that haircut gotta go, buddy. Do they not have good barbers in France or some? This sky top is egregious. I mean, just terrible. Look at the top of his head. Anyways, he challenges Bachira to an ISO, and no matter how Bachira dribbles, he was able to match up and keep up with his tempo, as Bachira realizes quickly that this man is a man marked specifically for himself to be sealed. Camus says that he's been in the lab preparing for this shit, but Bachira ain't losing hope yet, since everyone on the team got that dog in him, as we see that he makes a pass to Chigiri. Chigiri's plan, of course, is to use his speed as a breakthrough, but that's when someone runs up to him, being this player who looks like Dada Silva and Agi in one, asking Chigiri, is that so? And that he won't let him do what he wants. Chigiri was caught off guard, being this might have actually been the first time in this series since Zantetsu that has been able to compete with him in terms of speed. This guy's name is Leiden, and he's the left wing of the team. Isagi is looking at this and how France has both Chigiri and Bachira on some crazy lockdown at the moment, saying how France has foresaw their plays and is currently one step further through logic, and everything they do is one step behind them. I'm personally glad to see more side characters on the opposite team do something. I don't think I've ever seen this type of hustle out of these players since like the Japan U20 match. That's when we see Yugo put his hand on Isagi's back, like how my hand are on y'all Isagi Glazer's shoulders, cause it's about to look real dark for y'all. Yugo continues on what he was saying about how destiny depends on your aptitude. Physique, personality, and talent, just to name a few, are basic capabilities that are already decided the moment you're born into this world. So in other words, not everyone in this world is equal at birth, but for each of those individuals, there is a suitable way to live. And you know shit is getting bad when Choppa got Rayo on locks. We know Choppa's body, and he is not like that. Rayo, how are you letting this happen to you, my guy? We see the rest of Blue Lock also struggling, and Yugo says that how horses can run fast and birds can fly in the sky, life should be lived in its natural state, and yet only humans are unnatural. For example, if one saw a lion trying to fly in the sky, anyone would point and laugh, thinking it is an idiot. And that's why it's better to live more naturally. That's what it's meant to live out one's destiny correctly at the genetic level. With his hand still on Isagi's back, by the way, like he's sunning him, saying if everyone lived out their aptitudes more as they truly are, it would become a world where everyone can live happily and efficiently fulfill their lives. Chasing wishes that won't come true only continues to give birth to useless conflict and despair, inflating an ego that is beyond one's station. When it comes to things you aren't good at, there's no way you can beat someone who is naturally gifted at said things. Yugo ain't saying that you should give up on your dreams at all, but that people should dream a dream that fits their station or aptitude. Looking Isagi dead in the eyes, saying it's the theory of suitable destiny. And I know that boy Yugo struck a nerve, cause Isagi got that meta vision looking back at bro gritting his teeth, asking himself what's wrong. Isagi then says verbatim that he doesn't have the talent of a striker, and saying that in terms of performance, he's more suitable to be a midfielder. He knows the cam allegations exist, and he's agreeing, stating that he already knew that, and that he knew that so much that it hurt. But we see Chigiri actually manage to get a pass through, and Yugo asks him that if that's the case, then why does he willingly choose to live in such a mismatch of aptitude? But Isagi makes a one-touch pass, saying that destiny moves egotistically, and how he can rewrite it because that's what he's learned in Blue Lock. As we see Rin in the bottom corner saying give the ball to him, as he states that next he's going to destroy destiny itself. But we see one man come to get in his way, being Loki, as he asks that because it's not going to change in such a simple battle, it's destiny, right? But Rin just says who cares, as we see the matchup between the student and the master of PXG, Itoshi Rin versus Julian Loki. Rin is charging towards the box with the ball, and Loki's here just smiling, waiting for him. Rin then jacks his brother's whole flow for the second time with the cross elastico, or hocus pocus, whatever you want to call it at this point, and he manages to get past Loki. But with his speed, Loki hits that turnaround and catches up to bro in no time, gripping up on him and all. Peep the grin on his face too, the composure like Palma. He indeed was not worried in the slightest. Rin breaks out of it, and he got his eyes set on top right bins. Gabon over here is looking at his captain and praying that he's got it all under control. Rin gets into his shooting form, and Loki gets in close, but Rin still takes the shot. His crash shots are still one of his specialties, but Yugo came in to shut that shit down. Kinda hopped over Loki's whole body too. They just really giving hops to any and every player, huh? Anyways, the ball ends up flying over the net, so now it's a corner kick for Japan. The commentators just say how France got shit more on locks than the team with lock in their name, and the crowd cheering for Japan are freaking out like crazy at this. Isagi is standing here in complete shock just looking at this shit. He questions if Yugo was even able to predict that whole play with Rin to block his shot, going on to say that by reading Rin's trait of wanting to shoot while colliding, Loki limited his shot course and Yugo had his back to block the shot. But Isagi goes deeper and says that even the tactics that Blue Lock has prepared, as well as their individual abilities and capabilities, everything has been logically understood and grasped. France's team has talent placed in the right place to bring out 100% of their own performance and aptitude based on elite collectives. Isagi asks himself if they can win against France, but that's when we see Yugo pulling off the infamous Naoya hair move, telling Isagi that Blue Lock is strong. They're a group that takes the diligent, collective-minded culture of Japanese football mixed in with the individualistic philosophy of everyone aiming to be the best striker in the world. They've made a hybrid team that takes the best of both the collective and the individual, even complimenting Ego for being an excellent coach who's made the Blue Lock project a success, but states that's far as it goes from here. He adds on saying that 66% talent, 33% environment, and 1% of luck are the ratios of the elements that decide a match, at least in his opinion. So, you know, he won't get fact checked by the lame niggas on Twitter. But in Blue Lock's case, it's a team that's been barely winning by Isagi pulling in that 1% of luck. So France's solution to this is by rejecting situations where that luck can even happen entirely, stating it's the ultimate way to crush Blue Lock. Isagi gets on Hots, telling him to come at him, but Yugo was like, just chill bro, I was just rage baiting, duh. Telling Isagi that him getting baited was proof that he was spot on. And Isagi was looking at bro like he was about to whip out that 2-gun volley to his dome, or even that pistol whip volley. Yugo continues to say that Blue Lock has a serious Isagi Yoichi dependency problem. They're currently growing on the premise of the endless ideas that Isagi comes up with. And in other words, Isagi is just a slave not allowed to stop thinking or evolving for the sake of the team. And if he does, then the team will collapse. The same pressure is causing him to become impatient and makes his plays easy to predict and easy to crush. Yugo also makes a really good point here, saying that at the point where he's feeling pressure in this situation, Isagi just ain't cut out to be number one, because if he was, he'd be able to handle the pressure and be joyfully enjoying this moment where he's at the center of the world. And in that respect, then Loki is the perfect fit, since he was born with the best specs physically and doesn't doubt that he'll become the best striker in the world. His mind and body are in perfect sync with his aptitude. To put it in other words, he's just a natural born number one. And Yugo says that he's going to produce that, to be able to see a view that couldn't be reached alone. He wants to become the world's number two, and Isagi, out of all people, should understand what he means by that. He doesn't mean second place when he says this. Yugo means that he wants to oversee and manipulate the organization from the second most highest point, the one who understands the number one better than anyone else, as an equal in that regard. As we get this beautiful double spread of Yugo telling Isagi to come and be the number two, and if he lives out his destiny as the number two, then Blue Lock can still become stronger. But if he keeps chasing the dream of becoming the number one, then they'll be destroyed right here, as both teams get ready for the corner kick being taken by Bachira, ending off the chapter. Now, these two chapters were heavy self-reflecting stuff from Yugo, just giving Isagi one big reality check for the most part. I think a lot of fans have been giving Yugo straight hate, misinterpreting his words big time, and just making him out to be this yapper who is full of contradictions and just has no idea what he's talking about. All the more proving that Blue Lock fans indeed do not read their own manga that they supposedly know and love so much. Yugo doesn't even try to be this know-it-all y'all make him out to be, because he literally says that it's just his way of thinking that's just been right all of his life, or whenever he adopted this philosophy exactly. I can imagine Yugo telling this to Isagi because he also wanted to be a forward at one point, but he had mad pressure on him. But once Loki came into the picture, his thought just changed, and boom, here we are now. We've seen Isagi be able to have fun without the pressure of being number one, since he's constantly been overshadowed by the better players that happen to be on the same team, like Rin or Kaiser, throughout the series. But hopefully Isagi is able to grow from this, of course. I mean, next chapter is called Time of Awakening, but knowing Kaneshiro, he could literally name a chapter called Goal, and at the end of the chapter we won't even be inside the box. Y'all also seem to think I'm this Isagi hater, when it's literally quite the opposite, because it's not every day that Isagi is getting this type of comp. I mean, it's been a year since the NEL. I need someone to force Isagi to the ground and make him come back 10 times better. But let me just quit it with a yapping for now. If y'all enjoyed this chapter review, then please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and comment down below your thoughts on the chapter and your predictions on the next chapter. Make sure to also go follow the socials like the Instagram and the Twitter, and be sure to join the Discord to be a part of the community as well. All links are in the description down below, of course, and without further ado, I hope you guys have a great day, and see ya.